What I understood, I'm familiar with the work of Mr. Alain Savary.
Hmm.
He is from Zimbabwe, and
Hmm.
his method is used in more than 7 million hectares at the moment. So worldwide, in Australia, United States, and several parts in Africa. And his method is holistic management. It's about the method of management of grazing animals. They put larger herds and take them from one. It's complicated technically, but it's for me personally, it's the most promising solution to biodiversity in the long term. Reverse the desertification and yes, and also microclimate change is also has a big role.
Yes,
So I do
sure.
think that a combination of methods is very necessary to do that. And to be open, like you have done at the end, to be open also for ordinary farmers to open the door
Yes.
for them. It's this is very important to have some of them on board in order to grow the regenerative movement. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that is, for example, that's one of the things that is part of regenerative agriculture that is holistic grazing, Alan Savory, as you said.
Yeah.
And it's definitely worth to look into it if you are a rancher, if you produce meat, if you have animals, then you should definitely look into it. And I think, in my point of view, that is what mainstream big scale mainstream animal husbandry should look like.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that is actually where we go. Um, I wouldn't stop there though. And
Yeah.
that's the point. From a syntropic perspective, it's just one side of the whole thing. And I'm missing still a lot of trees, especially when we talk about everything that is derived from the ox. So all our cows, cattle,
Yeah.
they are animals that generally belong at the edge of the forest and into the forest, and they will also feed from so-called tree fodder, from leaves a lot.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And the traditional montado de Heza agricultural systems that we had in northern Africa and in the Mediterranean, and we still have it actually, are based on an integration of the livestock into a silvopastoral system. So that means it's a system that is covered with trees, but it has also a lot of grass and a lot of herbs and bushes and things. And these systems are then mob grazed by bigger animals. That
Yeah.
can be here we have the Iberian pig, the black pig that is often there. We have also systems that work with cattle, with cows. We have systems that work, of course, with sheep and goats. Although that is dangerous, especially sheep and goats at the same time. That is probably what deforested the whole North African continent a couple of thousand years ago, because that was mismanagement that was done that led to the death of the African oak forests, right? So once
Yes.
from
Yeah.
east to west, the
Yeah.
continent was covered with lush green oaks, and
Yeah.
that system was actually destroyed also by overgrazing and especially using the wrong animals in the wrong density. And here I want to say it's really important that we look at the carrying capacity of systems,
Yeah.
also of microsystems. So where we operate as farmers, you cannot just put an infinite amount of cattle onto a small piece of land.
Yeah.
And even when you work with rotation, you need to look at what the ecosystem can actually provide. There's also other pitfalls in that. That is, for example, what what type of supplements do the cows get? Are they still treated with antibiotics, etc.? So it does not mean that the soil is getting super biodiverse just because you put a couple of cows onto a onto a grassland. You need to consider a lot of things doing that. But it is for sure, it should be um, the successor of what we see, like the type of modern factory farming that we have, which is the worst way of behaving and of cultivating and of producing food in my point of view. I'm not a vegan, although I love vegan food, but the way how most of our meat is produced is just absurd,
Yes.
criminal. It's a crime.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we need to look into things like holistic grazing to find ways out of that. Yes.
Yeah. I've done about almost 3 years with almost no beach. And I don't think that I will would like to repeat that in the future. That's not a good idea. Uh, you can feel it in your bones. There is something missing in the system, and many of my friends were vegan and they are not vegan anymore. So it's much more. But I do understand the argument from vegans and from vegetarian individuals. They have good points. Industrial, large scale, and what we see, what is the standard today is wrong. We need alternative. Mr. Alan Savory's work, it's the best alternative we have at the moment. I cannot think of something different than what he already achieved. But there is a big problem. The big problem I see, and this is why I started the project Garden Generator in 2020. I have understood from Mr. Alan Savory that we need to go, a lot of people need to go on the land, on the countryside, and do business there. And taught about a lot about labor, about economic, and about housing. And such agriculture practices, in contrast to industrial agriculture, require a lot of labor. And that is a big problem when you have individuals working all the time and you have a small they produce just a small amount of products of food. And the other hand, you have industrial, large-scale pesticide, herbicides, and fungicides, and they produce so much food. Although this food is not good quality food, this one is not that good quality food, but on the market, there is big difference in payment and economic. So how can we reduce the labor work using, for example, technology or you have some
Hmm.
ideas, some methods
Hmm.
you have encountered?
Yeah. So I would like to actually zoom out a little bit to that
Yeah,
because, well, first, let me say first, there, of course, well, we live in a world where 40 to 60% of our food is nowadays produced industrially, which also means that we have at least 40% still being produced by smallholders.
yeah,
So that's people, we talk about like maximum 2 hectares of land or so. Um, and especially in the global south, we still have a lot of smallholder farms. And I disagree with the industrial model um, because exactly what you have said, it produces quantity. It produces also high quantity at low capital costs, money
yeah.
costs. But all the costs that are really there are externalized to nature and to people, for example,
The
to our
good
health.
points, good points.
So, okay, so to me, it's a dead end road.
Yeah,
So it actually should fail. Modern industrial agriculture has to fail if we as a species want to survive on this planet.
Yeah.
But I also see that we need a transition. We need a way, a path, even if we don't really see it yet, but there has to be a path to go from that type of agriculture to a system that is sustainable, regenerative, circular. Okay. Syntropic farming offers actually a model and a framework to go there. And it is also built to be scaled up. So it can be done by the help of machines. It's not a chaotic garden. It's not a chaotic food forest where you have to walk through a thick forest to find a cherry tree once and here and there if you
Yeah.
want to harvest. It is organized in a way that machines can help us. Harvesting can help us planting, can help us pruning, etc.